All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a good day. Let a few people trickle on in here. Fired it up a few minutes early. I am feeling better. Medicine is finally kicking in. All right. What's going on, man? What's going on? Let's break down this one game here real quick, and then we'll answer some questions. If it's the split slate or showdown lineup questions, there is a lot to talk about with this showdown. So let's get right into it. On the Spark side, it's really hard to trust pretty much most of the expensive players here. I mean, you've got Wnba at the top. I mean, she is the most expensive player on the slate. Uh, she's going to come in lower owned because of it. Obviously, she's shown a ridiculously solid floor to start the season. Has been really bad of late. The past two games, not ideal, but I mean, you can pay up and get different there. I have no issues with that. Aaron McDonald, probably my favorite of the upper tier plays for the Sparks. She's just playing consistent minutes. I mean, 27, 28, 31, 28. She's in the starting lineup. She can fill it up shooting wise. She's been getting the peripheral stats. So I have no issues playing her. She's probably my favorite Sparks higher tier play. Obviously, my actual favorite Spark play is Uru. Uh, Lexi and Rakia Jackson are fine. Minutes aren't the best on Lexi. I mean, she's going to play around 20. Rakia Jackson, potential to play more, pretty score independent, though. Clarendon and Nurse Burrell, not anyone I'm really interested in. Minutes are ticking down for Clarendon and Nurse. Burrell, you just never know if she's going to play or not. Talbot, I do have interest in. After Brent got hurt, her and Uru both played 26 minutes. She's not the best fantasy point per minute player, but I mean, 3,400 allows you to fit in more studs. Have no problem playing her. But the big news with the Liberty, I mean, today's been crazy. The early game was just wild with news. But Benajelani officially out. Will not play. Obviously, I mean, the big three here, if you can jam all three in, I love playing all three of these. They just dominate the usage. It'll be even more condensed on these three with Benajelani out. Vandersloot is still out. I love Stewie at the top. Sabrina, the matchup is just impeccable. John Quell, I mean, she's just been on another level of late. Febich is going to get the start. Love her at 5,800. I think Thornton's going overlooked at 5,600 now. She's going to have to play more minutes. I mean, with no Febich to come off the bench to replace her, they don't have another big. And they're playing the three. So if this game is to stay close, Thornton's going to play big minutes. Febich is going to play big minutes. But I do kind of like taking shots on like a Dochkic or Burke. I think you can take shots on either of them. I think both of them are going to play low teens minutes, like 10 to 12 would be my guess for both of them. And if one of them plays well and gets extended, they're going to be in the winning lineup, because it allows you to play like a Sabrina captain or a Stewie captain. And I mean, everyone under the sun is just going to play Febich captain, jam all the top plays. Uru captain, jam all the top plays. Talbot captain, jam everyone up top. Dochkic is a good player. She will shoot it when she's out there. I mean, 9 shot attempts in the last 2 games. Yeah, she only made 2, but I mean, she's going to chunk it. She is $2,000. So there's a lot of ways you can go tonight. I'm really excited for this showdown for sure. Yeah, I am super happy to be feeling better for sure. How much moose shit are we in today? That game earlier, I probably will still cash, and I played Big T, and I don't know. I don't know what Dallas is doing. They're off on a tangent. Benajelani is out. She is not playing. Febich is starting, so I definitely don't play Laney for sure. Yeah, I I like I like Aries. She's probably my favorite. She's by far my favorite guard for LA. But it's just so hard to play like the LA mid range, like Lexi, Rakia, uh, those girls like over like Phoebich or Uru or Talbot or even Thornton at this point. I mean, I think you just want to file in as many of the top spin ups as you can get. Burke or Talbot, probably still Talbot for me. I don't mind Burke though. I just know Talbot's minutes are a lot more secure. I'll still side with Talbot, but I don't mind Burke for tournaments for sure. It is Phoebich time. Who will be chalky in Showdown? Uru, Phoebich, and the three main spin ups for New York. Those will be the top 5 highest owned plays on the slate. And Talbot. That if you play those 6, you are going to hold hands with a lot of people. So you have to get different somewhere. Either leave salary, do something. But those are going to be by far the most popular 6. I think Dearica Hamby is going way overlooked, and I understand her price. It's kind of weird. I don't know why she's priced higher than Stewie, but she's going overlooked for sure. I'm not feeling Davis. I think if I'm spending down that low on New York, I'm just going to play Docic. Do I like Thornton? I don't mind her. Like, if there's ever a game for Kayla Thornton, I don't know if you guys saw the starting lineup. They have her at the 2. Like, I don't know how she's going to play the 2. She can't dribble and she can't like create her own shot, but they have her at the 2. And I'm expecting her to play quite a bit of minutes, but I mean, I think she could push for this 30 minutes. Now, granted, she's not been very good of late. She had a good game last time out, 22.25, but some really bad games, and obviously she had the 4D bomb, which she'll never replicate that again ever. But I kind of dig Thornton. Jones gets blowout run the other day. Is that normal? Not really. I think they left her out there against the Aces just because she was just on another level and like couldn't miss, and they wanted her to see how high her career high could get to. I think typically, but like now if you look, like this spread is crazy, but if you look at the Liberty, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 players active. They only have 8. So even if this game turns into a huge blowout, 2 starters still have to play. Now, granted, it's probably Phoebich and one of the bigs. Like it's going to be John Quell or Stewie that gets extended, like plays in the blowout, because they're not just going to play Thornton at the 5. They're not going to play Phoebich at the 5. So one of them will play if this game, even if it's like a 30-point game in the fourth quarter. So the ownership, like I look at Roto Grinders, but I never trust their ownership. I just kind of go off of like gut, like what I'm expecting, like from just playing over the years. Like I can tell you right now, like their projections are just off. Like they have Uru projected for 33%. Like she's going to be like 90. If she's not 90%, like people are just tossing money into the fire. What's the blowout lineup for LA? Let's look. Kurt is wacky, so this could be wrong, but I would expect it to be Cook, Burrell, Talbot, Uru, and probably Rakia Jackson because she's a rookie. Just depends if she's been playing a bunch, but my projected 5 that they would run would be Cook, Burrell, Rakia at the 3, Talbot at the 4, and Uru at the 5. If it was to blow out, that's who they would go with. When they know, yep. I'm people aren't really looking at that. Like Stewie or JJ will have to play in a blowout. Like the one of them will have to play. And I mean, maybe you get lucky and you play Stewie captain, and they're up by 30 with 7 minutes to go, and she stays out there and absolutely cooks. Who's guarding Wnba? It'll be Stewie. Stewie will guard Wnba, and JJ will be on Uru. Yeah. I mean, I use Roto Grinders just like they have their optimizer, and I spend like almost an hour every morning or late at night, like editing all their stuff. Like I edit like the minutes projections, then I edit my fantasy projections into theirs or override theirs. And I really just use their software for the most part. And I never pay attention to their ownership. Like their ownership is like I mentioned, Euros 33% projected. They have Phoebus projected for 6%. Like I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about them. Let's see here. Would you use Wnba in a multiplier spot on FanDuel? I thought about this. I'm not like right now. I think I'm just playing the New York Big Three, and then you can really kind of play whoever you want after that. But it's all about like nailing the right ones in the right spots on FanDuel, and nailing the Big Three. That whoever wins will obviously get the Big Three right for New York. Stewie is my favorite though. She hit all her threes against Phoenix. If the three ball starts falling for her, watch out. Like any pick six plays, I don't think I looked yet. I come home and took like a freaking fat nap. Let me look and see. I looked earlier, like before the Dallas game, and they didn't have anything. Like all because they were waiting on Dallas news, and then Dallas just abandoned ship and didn't care. They just caused chaos. Let's see if it'll log me in. I hope it doesn't. Hope it doesn't lock me out of my account again. See if we can't find any. They got any Euro stuff? That's what I'm interested in. I think she's gonna pop. She can play. Let's see. All right. Always go to fantasy points first. Yeah, see, like Euro 23.5 fantasy points is fine. I think that's playable. I think my favorite two might be what do they got Sabrina's assists at? 6.5. I think my favorite would probably be, I'm not running this, but if I was to run one, it would be Euro fantasy score and Sabrina's rebounds and assist. Who's your favorite captain today? Stewie. I think paying up to play one of the studs is the way to go. There's enough value. I think way too many people. I think the chalk build is this is the chalk build. Like people are just they're gonna jam Euro because I mean I don't blame them. She's cheap. She 81.40 left, and then they're gonna probably jam all three of them and figure it out, or jam two of them and then go to the mid range and get another cheap value. Whereas I think you can go like you can pay up and play one of the best players here in the captain because there's value to be had with playing a star at captain. So I'm riding the Stewie. I do have a Euro captain line though, just because I had to. Feels like a Stewie and Sap game. Yeah, I love the matchup for Sabrina. Like if I wasn't playing Stewie at captain, it would be Sabrina for sure. Those are my two favorites, and it's not a slot against John Quill at all. I mean, she's been playing out of her mind. She's gonna cool off, and I think Stewie can get there no matter what. And like Sabrina, the matchup is just crazy. Hit the likes, yeah. Let's get them likes racked up. Are Are you sticking to the big three and captain? Yeah, those are my three favorites. I do kind of like Hamby. Like the more I think about it, the more I kind of dig Hamby as a captain option. But then like after that, you pretty much just you're taking like a Uru or a Phoebich. The problem with Phoebich is she's not a very good fantasy point per minute player. Like I mean, she goes out here 20 minutes, 10 fantasy points, 23, 14. The times where she has she had this great fantasy game. She had 14 peripheral stats. Like that's just not going to happen. 3, 4, 3, 2. Like I'm not expecting her to get a bunch of peripheral stats. If she does, obviously she can absolutely pop at captain. But that's why I would prefer Uru over her at captain. I mean, last game she played 26 minutes, put up 21 and a half fantasy points, and didn't rebound the ball that well. I mean, she's a good rebounder. She's a good facilitator. She's a good shooter. I would prioritize her if you're playing like a mid-range captain for sure. But if you're punting, you can go like Talbot, Docic, Burke. I think any of them are fine. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to be a fun show. I don't think the game's going to be that great. I think New York's just going to absolutely dog walk them. But especially coming off a loss, like New York should be out for blood. Let's see here. I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I ain't got nothing better to do. Oh, man. Jackson or McDonald last flex on FanDuel. Probably McDonald. I just like Ari. She can score you fantasy points in pretty much every category, whereas like Rakia hasn't shown the consistency at grabbing boards, at being a facilitator. She's really just a scorer, and if she's not scoring well, they can pull her like that, and that's my biggest worry with Rakia is like her minutes. Like if you look, I think even last game they ticked them. Yeah, I mean she played 30 minutes here, 34 here, shot really well both games, then down to 25. Now she's been better of late. She's grabbing more rebounds, getting some more peripheral stats, but man, like I'm worried. Like if you pay that price tag for her and she plays 16 minutes and shoots 1 of 8, and that's what you're stuck with, and she just kills your lineup. That's my biggest worry with someone like Rakia. Inject a blowout into your veins. I'm in. I don't care if I see blood. So be it. I'm ready. I'm all aboard the Stewie train tonight. I think everyone's gonna. I think everyone is gonna play Uru captain or like John Quell captain, and not me. Not for me. I can't do it with Kia. Her minutes are just not the best. Like they've been better of late, like 20 and 20, but that's like her absolute ceiling for minutes. Like they just have so many guards they want to play. So if she's only going to play 20 minutes, she does next to nothing in the peripheral categories. I mean, she's averaging 1.2 rebounds a game and 1.6 assists. All of her fantasy production comes from points. And I mean, she's just not even shooting the ball enough to make it like worth your while. I would just much rather like in this range, like pay down and play Talbot or get like the extra funds to play Thornton or Phoebich or Uru. I would prefer Talbot over Nurse personally. Yeah, I'll answer questions for the 2-gamer for sure. I don't mind. Ionescu and Ricky or Stewie and Phoebich. I'm really high on Phoebich. The people that can get to her, like, probably should, because guards were really popular in the first game for good reason. I mean, there was a bunch of good ones. I got kind of hosed on FanDuel. I went extremely light on the first game, but I could have played Kennedy Carter, but I was playing Benaja Laney. I was stacking Laney and Sabrina tonight, and now Laney's out, and I'm having to go down to Erie. But I would have played Carter had I known that Laney wasn't going to play. But I do really like getting to Phoebich if you can. Like my lineup is set. I'm not playing her in the 2-gamer. I have all the studs for this late game, I think. Actually, I think I have 2 New York studs and then Uru. I can't believe Uru's price. I didn't know she's starting, and they still make her 5,300. Yeah. Yep. I got Uru and 2 of the New York studs. But yeah, I'm really high on Stewie tonight. That she is high on my list. But I think there's a bunch of different ways to go, and I think that's what makes this showdown like so good and so appealing. Yeah, you can play Talbot and Uru in the same showdown for sure. Yeah, I honestly, those are my 2 favorite Sparks plays. Just point per dollar wise, I mean, they're arguably the best 2 plays that the Sparks have. You can make a case for Wnba if you think she goes back to her normal self, like from earlier this year. But point per dollar wise, Uru and Talbot, like Talbot is not a good fantasy point per minute player. She's not even a good like player. But if she's going to play low to mid 20s minutes at that price tag, like, I mean, and I didn't even talk about like the Sparks. If you look at the Sparks, they're bigs. This is the situation they have. They have Dearica Wnba. They have Rakia Jackson, who can maybe play like a small ball 4. She can't play the small ball 5. She's a 3 for the most part. They have Uru and they have Talbot. And Talbot can really only play the 3 and 4. So they're going to have to go small, or Uru is just going to have to play a ton. And typically, like, they'll go small and play Wnba like at the small ball 5. But I mean, they are incredibly thin on bigs. Like, it's Wnba, Uru, and Talbot, and that's why I think Talbot's going to see low to mid 20s minutes. I think Uru is going to play high 20s minutes with the potential to play even more if she plays well. So I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to watch this game, and then I'm going to get around and make the YouTube video for tomorrow. Contest looks okay. I got a mini max again. Love that they're running that. So good luck to everybody. Hope to see someone take down the 10K up top, but we'll see you tomorrow.